Arda Güler. Arda Güler is the talk about town right now. Arda Güler to Arsenal, fresh contact made. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Third video of the day coming in here onto our channel known as the Rokani Media Football. We are talking strictly Arda Güler. Now, please subscribe because we want to hit 30,000 subscribers and do the needful to see to it that we obviously hit that milestone in here onto our beautiful channel. So guys, I love you all and please make sure that you make it a point that you really subscribe to our beautiful channel and really keep us going, because if you do so, then you will obviously get in the best of the best that you guys deserve onto this beautiful channel of ours, and that is the Rokani Media Football. Now, Arda Güler is back onto the table transfer of Arsenal, and who has gone ahead to obviously give us this story? It's the Court Offside. They've come up and told us that Arsenal have made fresh contact with the representatives of Arda Güler of a potential summer move. The Gunners are keen to get a deal done, but the midfielder has made it clear he does not want to leave Real Madrid at this stage. Now, people are coming out and really reacting that the player doesn't want to come. Let me tell you, even if the player doesn't want to come, but does the club want to sell? By the way, if there are players that Real Madrid are looking at to obviously solve their financial problems, Arda Güler is one of those. Why? Let me bring you up to speed. When Arda Güler was crossing, when Arda Güler was crossing from Fenerbahce, when he was coaching from Fenerbahce to Real Madrid, Madrid paid just 20 million euros, and the deal included an additional 10 million euro performance best bonuses and a 20% sell-on clause and a 6-year contract. Now, Arda Güler, if the deal, or if he came in through for 20 million euros, you understand? Right now, if they are to sell him, his value will be at like 60 or 70 or 80 million euros. I tell you. And Madrid are into a financial crisis, and he's one of those players that I think is replaceable. That is it. Because if you look at Nico Paz, a player whom they can really get in at a cheap back to Real Madrid, because he was their player and they sold him to Como and they can get him on a cheap, then they'll be like, let's obviously go ahead and do it, because they'll get in a profit of like 50 million euros from the sale of Arda Güler, and they can use that 50 million euros to obviously see to it that they really improve that midfield. Because I like Arda Güler, good player, but I think at the club of Real Madrid, he might not be that player that you will obviously need right now, because that midfield is really shaky. That number 10 role is really lacking. However much he came up and really performed very well in the game of the Champions League, but I think to me he's more of an understudy than a starter at the club of Real Madrid. If you're having a Nico Paz as your number 10 or a Bruno Fernandes as your number 10, then it makes a lot of sense to obviously have a player called Arda Güler coming off the bench and maybe playing those other games that are not really strict. Because when you look at his stats in there for you, I think he's not yet a Real Madrid player. That is it. He's not yet a Real Madrid player, according to me. He needs to do a lot to prove to me that he's a Real Madrid player. As that midfield, he's being looked at as a starter, and if he's being looked at as a starter, right, is he worth starting at Real Madrid? I don't think so that he's worth starting at Real Madrid. That means if I'm Arsenal, I can get in Arda Güler. If I'm having Martin Odegaard as my number 10, right, and getting in Arda Güler as that player to come in through and obviously be the understudy, then that makes a lot of sense for the club of Arsenal, because he's just 21 years of age, right, and he is a multifunctional player. I think This is the main reason as to why Arsenal really need him. They know that they really need a player off the left who can obviously put down bodies. And Arda can do that. Max Dorman is one of those, but you cannot obviously rush him into the team, But with Arda, he has been at Real Madrid, and he came in through there in the year of 2023, right? And he is already a winner. He is already a winner because when you look at the team's Real Madrid last Champions League trophy, I think Arda was there, I'm talking about Real Madrid when they beat Borussia Dortmund in there for you. So it was in 2024 and Arda was there. I think that was his first season in there for you and went ahead to obviously win that trophy, meaning that you are getting in a winner. That is it for your club. So he has the mentality of winners and he'll bring in lots of things. He's really good, left-footed player. I do like whatever he puts on the field of play, and he's really one of those that I really love. And I think at Arsenal, he comes in through, lots of things really do change. The big question remains that where will Ebelechi Eze really play? I think Arteta needs a left-footed player in his midfield, and he needs a player who can really carry the ball and obviously find out a pass. And Arda is really that particular kind of player. And when you look at Arda, he can play as a left winger, he can play as a right winger, he can play as an attacking midfielder, he can play as a number 8, So this boy is obviously one of a kind that you have to look at and really give a lot of kudos. And I think Arsenal have every reason to come in through and go in for him. His market value is at 90 million euros, but I think it's worth it. And I think this can tempt Real Madrid to obviously cash in for this player and see to it that he comes to the club known as Arsenal. As for Arsenal, Ebelechi Eze for me, he can be a perfect left forward for the club of Arsenal. That is it. If you let Leandro Trossard go and you sell Gabriel Martinelli, you bring in Arda and another left forward, I think it serves a better purpose. And the coming in of Arda obviously opens exit doors for Martinelli, who you can sell for 50 million euros and really make a profit of like 30 million. Trossard, you can get in some 30 million euros and recoup back the amount of money obviously went ahead by him. That is like 80 million euros. Then Gabriel Jesus, you can sell him for like 30, and that will see the club of Arsenal really getting 110. Now, if you obviously sell these homegrown players, that is Lewis Kelly for like 50, Waneri for like 50, obviously that is pure profit of 100 million euros. Why not go in for Julian Alvarez? Why not go in for Arda Why not go in for maybe a Rafael Leao or a Kvaratskhelia? You understand? So I think Arsenal have all what it takes to get in this player, and he's really very important because Arsenal need a player who can create spaces in low blocks and really move those bodies, I tell you. So as I've told you, I think that's the plan for the club of Arsenal. I would 100% support them to go in for that player because he's really good and he's a multifunctional player. He can play in the midfield. He can play to you in what we call the right wing, you understand? And then he is good at delivering set pieces, Arsenal and set pieces are like 5 and 6. You understand? So if you get in another player who is really good at delivering set pieces, then it really speaks volumes and helps out Arsenal a lot. You saw the free kick he really took when Real Madrid was playing against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena, and he shows you that he can raise up in big occasions, and this is what you need from him. When he comes in through at Arsenal, a lot of pressure won't be on him because Martin Odegaard will be there and Bukayo Saka will be there, and they might be looking at him as the understudy for those particular players. So that's it for Arsenal interest in Arda Güler, fresh interest. I really love it, and I'm really interested in really looking at what will obviously come in through. Your reactions to Arda Güler to Arsenal, fresh contact made, and Arsenal are in talks with the agent of Arda Güler. I'm waiting for your reactions in the comment section below. PSG Bayern Munich, PSG 5, Bayern 4 for now. It's a goal galore.